Hello student. In today's session we will discuss or we will start our new unit of advanced forming and joining process, and the unit name is spatial forming operation. As we discuss in the first unit, that is what is mean by forming, what is mean by different forming operation. In this unit we will discuss what are the different or what are the spatial forming operations. Okay, so in the spatial forming processes there is a first topic is that the high velocity forming. High velocity forming. So what is mean by high velocity forming? The high velocity metal forming was studied fairly intensively between 1995 to 1955 to 1970. As we discussed the forming operations or various forming processes, that is extrusion, rolling process, then forging process. In all these processes the velocity of the operation is very less. The velocity of the operation is less and the velocity operation is up to 5 meter per second. Means if the movement of the roller or movement of the punch, all these, the velocity of the operation is very less, up to the 5 meter per second. But in several applications the velocity of the movement is very high, and such type of the operation is called as the high velocity forming. Okay, so high velocity forming or involves the imparting the high kinetic energy to the workpiece by accelerating it to the high velocity before it is made hit in a appropriate die. If we discuss that for means in a high velocity process the kinetic energy is used, and all we know that the what is the formula for kinetic energy is that kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mv square. The formula for kinetic energy is 1/2 mv square, means kinetic energy is directly proportional to the square of the velocity. The high energy delivered to the metal with the relatively small weight. If we increase the velocity or if we increase the velocity of the movement of the ram or a punch, then high amount of energy is produced on a material, and if the weight is very small then it impact on a material very large. And as the velocity increases, the size and the cost of the compound is reduces. Size and the cost of the machine get reduces. And as we increase the acceleration, what is mean by acceleration? Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. So as the acceleration is increases, velocity is also increases, and as the velocity increases the kinetic energy also get increases, and due to that it requires small strokes. Means if we want to perform some forming operation, then strokes require is also small, and which will increase the production rate. And for high velocity operations the energy is stored in a gas or air. The energy is stored in a gas or air with the high pressure, or sometimes the energy is stored in a chemical form also. Okay, so there are some example of the high velocity forming is that hot forging, extrusion, powder compaction, bar cropping and blanking. These are the some high velocity forming operation. Okay, in these forming processes the large amount of energy is applied in a very short time of the interval. High velocity forming is also called as the high energy rate forming. So we will discuss about the high velocity in a forming process, the large amount of energy is applied in a very short time. In a forming operation, the very large amount of energy is applied in a very short time. That is, high energy rate forming is the one type of the, means if we consider the high velocity forming and high energy rate forming, in a high energy rate forming, only difference is that they use explosive or electromagnetic energy or electric energy. Means in high energy rate forming, explosive energy or electric energy or magnetic energy is used. And if we consider the high velocity forming, in a high velocity forming, the velocity get increases, and velocity can be increased by increasing the acceleration. Okay, so now we will discuss about the high energy rate forming. So in this forming process, large amount of energy is applied in a very short interval of time. If we consider the example of the fireworks, if we ignite the or crackles, if we ignite the crackles, it in a very short time it high energy get explosive. Or if we consider the example of the bomb, if we provide the explosion to the bomb, the high amount of energy get released through it. So same principle of bomb is used in the high energy rate forming. So in this process also, the large amount of energy is applied in a very short interval of time. The amount of energy is very high and it is applied to the workpiece in a very short time. Many metals tends to deform more readily under extra or fast applied load, which will make this process useful. Means if we apply the sudden pressure or sudden force on any component, then some metals get deformed easily, and this principle is used in this process. Okay, the parts are formed at the rapid rate, thus it is called as the high velocity forming process. As we discussed that in a high energy rate forming, the velocity of the movement of the punch or a die or equipment is very high. That's why it is also called as a high velocity forming process. These processes are useful to deform a material like titanium, tungsten alloy under high strain rate. Means if we consider titanium or a tungsten alloy, these alloys or these types of the metals or alloy are generally deformed by using this high velocity metal forming process. So this is all related to the high velocity or a high energy rate forming. So what are the advantages of high energy rate forming? High energy rate forming is called as the HERF, that is high energy rate forming. So what is the advantages of this process? The first advantage is that the die costs are low. The cost of the die is low if we compare it with the conventional forming operations or conventional forming process. If we compare conventional forming process and HERF process, then the cost of the die is less in a HERF process. Then easy maintenance of the tolerances. Easy maintenance of tolerances means it is not related to maintenance, that the tolerances that we obtain is very close, means precise design will be obtained. The component which we required or the size of the component and the size of the die are very similar, so tolerances are easily maintained in this process. Then possibility of the forming of most of the metals, as some metals do not form by using a conventional metal forming processes. The metals which having a high hardness or which having a very large strength, then such type of the metal, or if we consider the brittle metal, then such type of the metal will not form by the conventional forming processes. But if we consider the special forming process, that is high energy rate forming process, possibility of the is very high that all the metals get formed easily. So this possibility is very high in a special forming or in a high rate energy forming. Then material does not show the spring back effect. All we know that what is meant by spring back effect. If we apply some force on a spring and if we release it, the spring comes to its original position. So similarly, in some forming operations also, if the applied load is released, then the material will remain to its original position. But in a case of high velocity forming operations, these chance of the spring back effect get eliminated, because that the velocity of the operation is very high, and due to this the spring back effect of the material get eliminated. Spring back effect of the material get eliminated. Next one is the production cost of the component by such process is the low. The production cost of the component is low in this process, because if we consider the conventional forming operation, in a conventional forming operation, the cost of the press or cost of the die or cost of the punch or cost that required to operation of the punch is very high. But if we compare it with the high velocity forming operation, this cost is less. So these are the some advantages of the high energy rate forming operations. Now, what are the limitations of this process? The limitation is that only it requires a highly skilled person. The person that required for that purposes is highly skilled. Means any labor cannot be use such type of any labor cannot be directly use such type of the process. They require a high skill for that purposes. Okay, so these are the related to the high energy rate forming. Now there are three main types of the high energy rate forming. The first one is the explosive forming, the next one is the magnetic forming, and third one is the electrohydraulic forming. There are three main types of the high energy rate forming. That is, first one is the explosive forming, second one is the magnetic forming, and third one is the electrohydraulic forming. So in our syllabus there is only one out of these three, only one type of the forming process is that is the explosive forming. So we will discuss about the explosive forming. As its name is suggested that explosion, that's why explosive material is used in this process. As the name suggested that it's use the explosive material for the power source. So see here, in an explosive forming, the punch or a diaphragm in a conventional forming process is replaced by explosive charge. In a conventional forming process, we use a punch and a diaphragm, and in this explosive forming operation, this punch and diaphragm are replaced by the explosive charge. Okay. So which are the material that are used as a explosive? So high explosive chemicals like TNT, RDX, dynamite, gaseous mixture, and the propellant. These are the name of some explosive material that are used in an explosive forming operation. Okay. So there are two techniques of the high explosive forming. In explosive forming there are also two types, that is, first one is low explosive and high explosive, out of which generally high explosive forming is used, because low explosive forming is not produce the high velocity. So that's why high explosive forming is general method is used in a explosive forming, and high explosive forming is classified into two types. That is, first one is the standoff technique or unconfined type, and second one is the contact technique, or it is also called as the confined type. So we will discuss about the standoff explosive forming. Standoff explosive forming. So see here, these are the sequence of the operations of the explosive forming. First of all, we will discuss what is the procedure in it. If we see here, here they given the water surface, means this whole process is conducted in a closed container. This process is conducted in a container, and container is filled with the water. This process is conducted into the container, and container is filled with the water. So here is the water surface inside the container. Here is the explosive charge. This is the workpiece. This is a die and vacuum line. So first of all, we will discuss the procedure, and then we will discuss the parameters that we have to need to discuss. So here if we see, here is the explosive material and here is the our workpiece. So distance between this explosive material and this workpiece is called as the standoff distance. The distance between explosive material and that of the workpiece is called as the standoff distance, and the distance above the explosive material, the distance above the explosive material is called as the hydrostatic head. The distance from explosive material to the water surface is called as the hydrostatic head. Now what is the procedure? If we see, first of all, this is the first arrangement for the process. After that, these explosive material get ignited. This explosive material get ignited, and if we see the arrangement here, the vacuum line is also provided. This is a die and vacuum line is also provided here. So we will discuss what is the purpose of all these factors. So when we ignite this explosive material, the blast will happen, and due to this blast, the high velocity waves of the water, will travel along in all the spherical direction. Once we ignite this explosive material, or it called as a charge, then high pressure pulse and gas bubble are formed, and this will travel along all the spherical direction. If we see here, due to this high velocity or pressure pulse, or due to this gas bubble, the pressure is applied on this workpiece. When this material get explode, then due to these high velocity waves, this material get deformed. If we see the third image, in that the workpiece is filled inside the cavity of the die. The workpiece is filled inside the cavity of the die, and also these waves is travel along all the direction of the container, okay. And if we see, the gas bubble went at the surface of the water, and the gas bubble that we have formed will went out at the top surface of the water, okay. So this is the overall procedure. So now we will discuss that what is this standoff distance and how much this distance are required. If we see here, the distance from explosive material to the workpiece is called as the standoff distance, and these distance are generally, this standoff distance is generally taken as the S if we call the standoff distance is S, and this is a workpiece, suppose the workpiece having a diameter D, then this S is equal to D. Then this S is equal to D for a certain limit, means if our D is up to 0.7 meter, if the diameter of the workpiece is up to the 7 meter, up to the 0.7 meter, then up to the diameter of 0.7 meter, this distance is taken as S is equal to D. But as this distance, as the diameter of the workpiece goes on increasing, then this distance is taken as a 0.5 times the D. This standoff distance, when the diameter of the workpiece is less than 0.7 meter, then this distance or this standoff distance is taken as a S is equal to D. But as this D is increased, or when this D is above the 0.7 meter, then this S is equal to 0.5 times the D. Okay, so this is the our standoff distance, or the value that we need to take as the standoff distance. Okay. Now next is the hydraulic, or next one is the hydrostatic head. So hydrostatic head is the distance from this explosive to the distance up to the water surfaces. Okay, and generally this hydrostatic head is taken as a 2 times the S. 2 times the S means this hydrostatic head should be 2 times the S, means H. If we take the hydrostatic head as H, then it is equal to 2 times the S. Okay. Then there is the amount of charge. The amount of the charge, how much amount of the charge should be taken. The amount of the charge is depend on the yield strength of the material, then it also depend on the blank thickness, means the thickness of the workpiece. It is also depend on the central height that we need to form, or this also amount of the charge also depend upon the energy that charge contain. The energy that charge contain means if we use a highly explosive material, then the charge amount is less. If we use a less explosive material, then the amount of the charge will be high. So all these factors should be considered while selecting the amount of the charge. Okay. Then we have discussed that is a spring back effect. That is the when we discussing the advantages of the high velocity forming process, then we have discussed that is a spring back effect. So what is mean by spring back effect? When we apply the force on a material, then it will get deformed, and when we remove this force, it will come to its original position. This is called as generally spring back. But in a high velocity forming process, the spring back effect is eliminated. And how this amount of this spring back effect is eliminated? That using a slight excess charge than exactly calculated to carry out the deformation operation. Means there are some formulas that are used to find out the amount of the charge required. There are some formulas, and based on this formula we can calculate the quantity of the charge. So by increasing the slightly small amount of the charge, if we increase the small amount of the charge, then spring back effect can be eliminated. So this is a one method to eliminate the spring back effect, and correct use of the correct material of the die. If we use the correct material for the die, then also the spring back effect is also eliminated. Okay. So this is the standoff explosive forming process. So see here, they are give the exam principle and the steps. The work is firmly supported on the die and the die cavity is evacuated. So if we see here, there is one vacuum line. What is the purpose of this vacuum line? That is, if the air is trapped between this, if this air is trapped between this, and when we apply when the pressure is applied by the wave or this explosive, then material will get formed into it, but air is trapped inside this cavity. Air get trapped inside the cavity, and if this air get trapped inside the cavity, then after the removal of, or after this explosion process, then this where air will also expand and the material will come to its original shape, that is, it will come to spring back. But to eliminate this spring back, this vacuum line is provided, that is, this space between this cavity is evacuated. So this is the purpose of the evacuation or vacuum line. A defined quantity of the explosive is placed suitably in a water medium at the definite standoff distance from the work. Here here we are discussing, or we are explaining the work process of the explosive forming. So definite amount of the quantity of the amount that we have calculated of the explosive material is placed at some standoff distance, and as we discuss what amount of standoff distance we need to take, this is placed at that standoff distance. On a detonation of the explosive charge, a pressure pulse or a shock wave of high intensity is produced. The shock wave are produced when the material is detonated. The gas bubble also produced, which expands spherically and then collapse. During this explosion process also, the gas bubbles are also provided, and it will expand spherically, means it will expand in all the direction, and it will get collapse on a top surface, or when it will when it touches to the wall of the container, then also these air bubbles get collapses. When the pressure pulse impinges against the workpiece, the metal is deformed into the die with the high velocity. Means if we see here, these waves when impacted on these waves are impacted on this workpiece, then it will get into the form of cavity, and the velocity is very high. If we consider this process, the velocity in this process is up to the 120 meter per second. The velocity is 120 meter per second. The vacuum is necessary in a die to prevent the adiabatic heating of the work, which may lead to the oxidation or a melting. To eliminate the oxidation or melting purpose, the vacuum is also provided here. So here there are some factors, that is, what is the role of water here? What is the role of water here? It acts as an energy transfer medium. If we consider see here, this explosive material is when ignited, and surrounding this explosive material there is a water, and due to this explosive, these shock waves are transferred through the water. These shock waves are transferred through the water, so it acts as a transmission of the shock wave, or it acts as a medium to transfer the shock waves. Okay, so this is the role of the water. Then after that, ensure the uniform transmission of the energy. Means due to use of the water, the energy is uniformly transmitted. Then muffle the sound of the explosion, means it acts as a muffle means it acts as a silencer. When the explosion takes place, the sound, high intensity sound will produce, and this intensity of the sound is reduced by using the water. So this is the purpose of the use of the water. Smooth application of the energy on a work without direct contact, means there is no direct contact between an explosion and the workpiece. So smooth the energy that released by the explosive material will smoothly applied on the workpiece. So this is the role of the water in a case of the explosive forming. What happen if we use air instead of the water. As all we know that the water is less compressible than that of the air, means air is highly compressible. So the amount of energy that will applied on a workpiece, if we use as a air medium, then this energy will require, the amount of energy that impact on a workpiece is very less, because air is highly compressible, and due to this the energy that impact on a workpiece is very less. Okay, so if we want to use the air instead of the water, then high amount of the explosion that we need to use in this case. So generally water is used as a medium there. Then there are a process variable. What are the different process variable that will affect on this explosive forming? So first one is the type and amount of explosive. Which type of explosive that we are using and what is the amount of explosive that are we using is the one most important process parameter that affects on a explosive forming. So wide range of the explosive are available. If we can say there is a large amount of explosive are available. Then next one is the standoff distance, SOD. It is also called as the SOD. It is the standoff distance between workpiece and the explosive. Optimum SOD must be maintained, means the optimum SOD that must be maintained in this process. Then medium used to transmit the energy. Water is most widely used. What are the process parameter that the medium that used to transmit the energy? As we discussed, water is used as a energy transmitting medium. So large amount of energy is needed. That's why water is widely used. Then work size, the size of the workpiece that are we using, this is also one process parameter. Then work material properties, which type of the material that are we using for a workpiece. So this is also affect on this. And vacuum is in a cavity or vacuum in a die cavity. So these are the some process parameter that affects in a explosive forming. So here are some advantages of the explosive forming. The first one is a shock wave is efficiently transmitted through the water and energy is transmitted effectively on the workpiece. The shock wave that are produced are effectively transmitted through the water. It is transmitted through the water and this energy is transmitted effectively on a workpiece. Then less noise, due to use of the water there is a less noise, less probability of the damage of the work. As we discussed that the energy is uniformly distributed and due to use of the water the energy is smoothly applied on the workpiece. As we discuss here that smooth application of the energy, due to the smooth application of the energy the probability of the damage of the workpiece is very less. Large and thick parts can be easily formed. Large and thick parts are easily formed. Economical when compared to the hydraulic press. If we compare it with the conventional forming process, then this process is economical. The process is versatile. What is meant by versatile? The large variety of the shapes that can be formed, no limit to the size of the workpiece, suitable for a low quantity production as well. Means if the quantity of the production is very less, then also this process is suitable. The process has been successfully used for a steel plate of the size 25 mm thick into 4 meter diameter. Means if we consider the workpiece, then 25 mm diameter and 25 mm thick plates also get formed by this process. And if 4 meter diameter means large workpiece can be easily formed by this process. Then what are the limitations of this explosive forming is that the first one is the optimum SOD is essential to proper forming operation. If we want to proper forming operation, then we need to find out the optimum SOD. SOD means standoff distance. This distance should be very accurately calculated. Then next is the vacuum is essential and hence it adds on a cost. As we discussed, the vacuum is very important process variable parameter in this process. So this will increase the cost in a operations. The next one is the die must be larger and thicker to withstand with the shocks. Means the shocks, if we consider this process, this is the high velocity forming process. So the die should be a such way that it will be larger and thicker to withstand with these shocks. Means it will be withstand with these shocks also. Not suitable for a small and thin work. It is not suitable for the small workpiece or and the thin parts. Explosive must be carefully handled according to the regulation of the government. Means that the explosive that we are using, it should be a carefully handled. The explosive that should be a carefully handled as per the government's law. Okay. So this is the stand-up explosive forming process. So today we will stop here. In next section we will discuss the next part.